Hello again, it's Elizabeth and I'm here in my art loft, and today we're going to continue on our 4-envelope journal. And so far we've made the pocket and the card for making it easier to write. We've made a side pocket with some flips open to allow more journaling, with this little closure to keep them from flipping open as you're turning the page, because that would be annoying. Come on, flippy thing, get on there. Okay, so then we have all of our colorful pages, which were roll-off prints. And now we come to this flap. Well, in the other one, what I did with that flap was to cut it off until it was like 3/16 of an inch, or almost a quarter of an inch. Okay, you can see it was cut to there. Now this is washi tape that I put on top of it, of course, afterwards. So what I did with that then was to take this piece, which is one whole sheet of the brown roll-off paper, and I simply glued that little line up to that piece. And then I made another side pocket like I had on the other side. Well, I think that in this one, instead of doing that, I'm going to go ahead and do what we did for this pocket, and I'm going to trim off these glue parts, you know, the licky glue parts, and I'm just going to glue it down. And of course I got crooked there. Come on, you scissors. My scissors need sharpening. Anybody know some good scissor sharpeners? Anywho, we're going to cut these off and we're going to glue it down like we did the other one, and we're going to slit then the top of the edge of the pocket to make it into a regular pocket. I mean a regular pocket. So I'm going to just cut off this top like I did the other one and make it a pocket. And if I found that, I pitched it somewhere. You know that little piece yesterday? Well, we could make it the same, but let's not even worry about it. Let's just go ahead and cut it. And we just cut down, and then if you want to make it even, you just flip this over to the other side. And if you don't trust cutting it as you're holding it, then you can just draw it and then do it. But, you know what, I'm not going to even worry about it. I'm just going to come up and then go to there. And it is definitely not even because it's higher up that way than it is this way. Okay, so we're going to flip that little piece over there where I'll never find it again, too. Now, we want to go ahead and glue this side down, this little edge down. I can do that along here. And along here, just to make sure that we've got it to the edge of everything. Just a little bit of glue there. Okay, so we got a little extra glue there. We'll just wipe that baby off, put that pin out of my mouth. Shame on you. Do not put your pins in your mouth. You'll hurt your teeth. That's what my mom always told me. And glue that along there. Now we want to make sure, you want to go ahead and open this up to be sure that you haven't gotten glue in there. And I can look down in there and see that there's no glue in there. So we need to distress the edge of that, because of course we cut off the part that we had already distressed a little bit. Not that we have to have that, you know, done. And of course you could do it with blue or any color that you want. It's whatever you like. It's the color that you would do your envelopes. A little bit on the back. And actually it's easier if you make these envelopes not totally even. In other words, you've got that kind of, you know, curve down there. But if you make them one curve, one depth, and the other curve another depth, then it makes it easier to put something in there, because then you don't have to struggle with opening that up. Like if you look at this one, sometimes when it's closed, it's like, okay, how do I get that in there? And you have to figure out how. Well, this one stands open more, so it's all right. Either way you like to do it. If you like to have them staggered, then it works. And if you don't like to have them staggered, then it also works. So put a little more on there. And get it all over my fingers, of course. And I put a little bit inside there, on the edge of the inside there, because it will show there. And you can see that's not absolutely perfect. Okay, so I went and got a couple more of my other cards that I had to use as journaling cards, and we'll make those for that. But in the meantime, for our last envelope, we can either leave it as a normal envelope, or we can go ahead and cut that down and make it into a side envelope. But I wanted to show you how I line an envelope, because if you notice, this one is lined with a piece of my gel plate print. Yeah, not the other way around. And when you're lining it and you have this many folds in it, or you have any folds in it, then you have to just glue the lid. You don't want to glue down inside. So I'm going to go ahead and line that, and I did bring over a piece of really pretty paper. Now, I don't know, do I want to line it with that, or do I want to line it with that? I think I'm going to line it with this pinky stuff right here. So what we need to do is fit this down inside here, and I cut this to be exactly the size of the piece of the journal, so it doesn't really fit in there very well. So what we're going to do is just tear that off, so it'll be about the right size. Okay, and then I'm going to trim it like a smidge. And you know how much a smidge is. It's a little more than well, it's a little less than a tad. So what I'm going to do is trim off about, I don't know, a 1/16 of an inch, and I guess it's about a 32nd. You can measure that if you want. Okay, not really. I think I need to trim just a smidge more off. That wasn't a big enough smidge. You've got smidges that are small and smidges that are medium. We need a medium smidge. Okay, come on, you. What we want to do is trim it off enough that it'll fit into that pocket. And we really don't have to trim the top part, just the bottom part. And let me get rid of these little spares before they end up on my floor. Okay, so we'll put this down in here. And you know how to make it easier to put it down in there? You just take your little corner punch and round it off with the roundediest one. That's the roundedest one. There you go. And it'll slide in there a lot easier than if you have those corners that try to... Oh, come on. Why are you not... This thing is really sweet, but it's not doing it today, so I don't know what its problem is. This one's made by We Are... No, this is... yeah, We Are Memory Keepers, yeah. I like them pretty well. Most of their punches work pretty well. And I should close up my ink before my sister gets after me. Okay, so this should slide down in here. Sometimes if you use both fingers, it helps. Come on, go in there. And I like it all the way down. Now, the reason I like it all the way down is because if you have it like halfway down, and you put a tag in there that has some kind of weird, you know, outside stuff on it, an extra little piece on it that goes down into your pocket, that can hit that edge of that paper, the paper that's in there, and make it not work. Make it not come out right. Now, you know, I should have just left that one. Well, see, this is the outside pop thing that's going to be on the outside. Now, what I'm going to do is trim that to exactly that size. But before I glue that down, I'm going to do my closure, because then I can use this to cover whatever I did as my closure. And I'm just going along the edge of this with my scissors, just watching as I go to make sure that it cuts it exactly the same as where it was. And if it doesn't, once you glue it, you can you can do additional trimming. But like I said, I'm going to not glue this down yet, because I want to do my closure. Now, my closure on my other one was a simple brad and a little circle that I had cut out of a piece of paper. And then I'd put a little decorative thing on the outside of it, like a little cog circle, which was actually a piece of paper cog, and that's a little brad through the envelope, and then so that my thread can come up around it. Well, I thought I would show you a button closure because, you know, we did this one with the brad, and you saw how I did that, and then I adjusted the inside so that it would not be, so that it would be protected, so that your papers didn't get crunched with it. And I see a little boo-boo there that needs to come off because it's bugging me. It's not gonna, I'll have to do that later. Okay, so I don't want to do it this way because that's basically the same thing we did there, except that we have a circle here instead of a little tab, you know, little toggle tab. So we're going to do it with a button, and I have not actually picked out a button, but usually you'll use a 2-hole button. You can use a 4-hole button, nothing to say you can't. And I think I have a really pretty one right here we use. And sometimes you say, well, this isn't as pretty a journal as you might like, so maybe we use the ugly button. But they're not really ugly, they're just not as pretty as the other ones. So let's see, that one's kind of pretty. I like this one. And that one's a 4-hole button. Let's look again. Thing is, what am I going to use the rest of these buttons for anyway? I have a bazillion buttons. I almost dropped that. Okay, I like, where did that other one go? This one, I would use this one, but it's kind of thick, so it would be kind of making your journal twice as thick because you had that button. Okay, here's one. Ooh, that's pretty. It's got Aurora Borealis in it. We'll use that one. We'll make a really pretty button. Okay, so if I'm going to put this on here, and you keep, why are you coming out? Oh, I know why you're coming out, because you have to go all the way down. Well, we're not going to worry about that yet. You're going to kind of push that into the fold so it will fold where the other one had folded. Where the top had folded, the closure had folded. Okay. But we're going to tuck that down there so we're not bothered with that. And we'll make a few more folds in it though. And we're going to put our beautiful button on. Now when you put this button on, you want to make sure it's not going to pull out of the lid. Why do I keep trying to call it a lid? A flap. The flap. You don't want it to pull out of the flap. So what you want to do is you put your holes in there, and all I'm doing is poking a hole where each of the buttonholes are. Okay, so they're kind of close together. So what you can do is you can use a piece of something that's a little stiffer, and I have this piece over here of, this is the same cardstock as the cardstock was, and it's heavier than the envelope lid itself. And you could cut yourself a little circle the same as the button, or you could cut just and punch a hole through it. Or it doesn't have to be that big. It just has to be big enough to keep those holes from pulling out. So basically I'm going to put this in behind it to stiffen that, to hold that very stiff, and then I'm going to punch my holes again. And this is so crooked, you wouldn't believe. I could have just glued that and then done that, punched it, and then it would have been punched. But what I was going to say is you can just take a piece of cardboard. You don't even have to use a whole little, you know, glue that one in. You don't have to use a whole little circle thing. You can use, and of course it falls face down. Do not get on there. Give me a second to think and say what I'm trying to say here. Let's get these holes lined up. What you can use instead of the whole circle is to just have a little piece of the cardboard, a board of some sort, that's the same width as what the holes are going to be, so that you put that in between the holes to strengthen, and that one's a little bit too wide, to strengthen where your thread is going to be in there, bound and holding that. See what I'm saying? Just that much would have worked. But we've got the circle there, so it'll work fine. Okay, so it's going to be hard for that thread to pull out. And we probably want to use the same thread that we used, you know, on our binding. And we have some of that right here. Look at that. Even had some. Now, there are two ways you can do this. You can have your thread, if I can find the end of it, you can have your thread to the outside and have it, you know, hanging out on the top here, or you can bury your thread inside. But you don't need any more than enough to thread your needle and pass it through those holes twice. You can make it go 2 or 3 times if you like. I mean, if you like that look of it. Okay, needle, where did you go? Here it is. And remember, we always, and I know this is not going to tangle, but it makes it go through the needle eye easier if you have it all waxed. So I'll go ahead and wax it anyway. Okay. And we'll put it in our needle eye. There we have it. So I'm going to put mine inside. I don't want it to show. So I will sew from the bottom here into my needle, into my button. Beautiful button that it is. And back in through the next hole and through that hole that I've already made. And then I could go through again if I want to make it a thicker thread there. I think I will. Yeah, might as well. Okay, quit being annoying. If you do go through again, you want to make sure that you keep that thread out of the way so that it doesn't get sewn through. You never sew through your threads because it weakens them. And then we'll go back through here. And you probably want to leave that just a little bit loose. So you don't want it totally tight. But that button is nice because it's kind of curved up, concave, so that it will allow the thread that's going to be wrapped around it to close. It will allow that thread to go around it easier, go under it. Come on, now why can't I tie this silly thing? Okay, so again, we're going to make a double knot. And is that perfect? Yep, that looks good. And flip this one through twice to make it into a surgeon's knot. Did we do that already? Oh yeah, when we tied our binding, didn't we? Yeah. Go through again. It's harder with a little tiny piece of thread. I should have cut off a bigger piece of thread. I was trying to be thrifty, and then it makes it a pain in the, well, you know where I mean. Okay, give me my wax to make it all stick together and go through at once. Okay, go through the little hole there. Oh, seriously, come on. Alright, it's going to be just a plain double knot and not a surgeon's knot. It won't come loose. I'm going to glue it. That'll teach it. And cut off the excess. And then, to make it so that it doesn't make too much of a lump on this little paper here, see, that would be kind of a lump. I'm going to put one more piece of this cardstock over the top of it so it won't be so much of a lump with the thread that's there. No, could just leave it. I'm not going to worry about it. I like to do it this way. And that'll be lots of nice glue to keep it all gluey. Spread out my glue a little bit, make it dry faster. Still takes a while to dry. Okay, so then we're going to put this liner in our envelope and we could have it, look at that, isn't that cute with it, if it peeks out like that? That's kind of neat. Do we want to do it that way? All we'd have to do is pull it out a little further. Nah. Yeah. I think we'll do it that way. Okay, so leave that a little bit out. So we're just going to put glue all over this envelope top. And you don't want to get it to the hinge there, because if you get it into the hinge, then it will make it difficult for it. I want to make sure we've got it there. Okay, that looks pretty good. So we're going to leave just a smidge showing because we think that looks pretty. Because it was really pretty on that side, wasn't it? Make sure that it doesn't have any glue showing out. And hold down this point for sure. Just smooth it down. Make sure I've got it in camera so that you can see it. Okay, we have a little extra glue there, and a little extra glue there, so we'll get rid of that. Make sure it's glued around the button, and I can do that with this. This is a nice little spatula that I got, I don't know when, but they have them at some of the hobby stores, and they are really handy to have to do little bitty stuff like under the button, smoothing it down, and so on. And that looks gorgeous. So let's try it out, see if it works. But of course it works, and we can go either way on this, all the way around, and there you have a really pretty little book with that little extra edge there. Oops, got to figure out which way to undo it. Okay, so what else do we have to do? Well, we need to, if we're going to cover this piece, we should cover that with something. And I don't know if I like that. Maybe we need something decorative. Or maybe we want another pocket on there. I have some of these weird pockets that I've made over time. I think there's one on my YouTube channel called 4 Pockets or something like that. And kind of neat, kind of interesting. Actually, I have 4 of those. Look at this. I have 4 that I have made look strange. I used a stencil on this to make it have that, and you can see the inside is the butterflies, and you can use that just as a pocket, or you could write on that too. Put extra piece of paper in there, but we'll put this one in. Do we want that one or one of the others? Let's see what the other ones have in them. I don't think they're all butterflies. Oh, this one's a flowery one. I think I was going to use these in the secret garden journal that I made and forgot. Sorry about that, Marty. Oh, this is the one we're going to use. Look at that. That's pretty. And you could write in there too. And I have glue on my fingers. Somebody already did write in there. No, that's the one that was on the paper itself. This is, of course, scrapbooking paper that is 12 by 12 that I folded down into these pockets. As I said, there is a YouTube video with these on there. Since I have done this, I have seen it done by the Paper Outpost lady. Pam from Paper Outpost has done this as well. So there are several people that do this kind of a pocket folded extra journaling stuff. So we're going to put that right there, and all we have to do is to put glue on it or tape or whichever. And I think I'm going to have it like that so that this is toward the middle. And then when it opens up, it's going to open this way instead of going the other way. So yeah, I think I'll go that direction. Okay, and when you're gluing this on, you can glue the whole thing on, or you can just glue like 3 sides, nicely even glued if you can. And then if you glue just 3 sides, guess what? You have another pocket. And it's so much fun to have a bazillion pockets, right? I should have made the pocket a top pocket, but I didn't. So we've got and I'm going to scoot this down just a little bit because my glue is showing down here. Either I got to wipe off my glue. Could just do that. But that looks pretty good, right? And you don't see the envelope itself, though, as much. Then we've got those flips there. Then we've got all these journaling spots here. Then we want to have another pocket here, so we might as well use another one of these. And we'll go ahead and just put it in. And this time we're going to make it, we're going to put it this way. No, we should put it the same. Look out this way. And we're going to put, though, the pocket, we're just going to do it two sides. And then you'll have a tuck spot, which will make it a little easier to put stuff in and out instead of having an actual total pocket. So let's see how we're doing on time, because I am never good with the time here. I always think that I have more, and I don't always. Let's see. And we're up to 25 minutes. And you know, the other day when that happened and it kicked me off. It was terrible. I should have edited that and everything, but I'm really not a video maker. I don't claim to be a video maker. I like to make books and art and things of that nature instead. So we've got a lot. We added just a bunch of thickness to our journal by just adding those two little pockety things. But now it will still close, and if it doesn't, we just add another fold to it. Pinch another fold on there. So you see what I'm doing? I'm just flattening that so that it's pinched on there with another fold. And then I'll go ahead and hold it out like this with just that page. Flip that down like that. And go ahead and fold that as a fold. So we just put one more on there, and we'll go ahead and ink that as well, because it make it make it look like all the other folds, which have a little ink on them. I don't know if I put ink there. That's good enough. Okay. Now, if we wanted to put another pocket on the front, like we have on this one, excuse me, get that out of the way. Let me make this really folded. On this one, I just put a flat pocket, which all I did was to make this on another piece. You can see it's made on a separate piece of brown paper. See that little edge there? And then I glued around 3 sides and made it into a pocket. So we could do that as well. But I don't know that we're going to do that because this has so many interesting things. I think we will go ahead. Next time I'll show you the key and the paper clip, because those are fun things to make. But for now, we're finished with this. We're finished with the journal. We're just going to add the key and the paper clip. So let's push this around here like this, and let's twirl our thing around, and we have our journal. That did turn out pretty cute, didn't it? Okay, leave me a comment. What is it? Oh, thumbs up and share if you like, and also, oh, you already subscribed. Well, most of you did. Anyway, see you soon. Bye.